Alrighty, so I'm with Nicholas Lemongelli, one of our great clients at the SLS Framework Mastermind, and Nicholas joined us about 2 months ago. He's a director of insurance brokerage at Northeast Financial Network, and Nicholas is currently running the SLS Framework Mastermind for um, recruiting, somewhat. Recruiting would be the right word here. Attracting talent, I guess that's even the better way to put it, into the firm, into his firm. So brokers, other insurance brokers, and currently leveraging our automated framework through the SLS framework to get a hold of other insurance agents and brokers who may be frustrated in their current role, who are looking for better opportunities. So the SLS framework, yes, is great, for getting new clients in, but we're kind of recording this interview to talk about what about recruiting talent, and that's something that people like Nicholas are currently doing, and that's what I want to dive deeper into today. Nicholas, please go ahead and introduce yourself. Where are you from, and again, what do you do at Northeast Financial Network?
Great. Yeah, sure. Thanks, Bilal. So I live in New York. I live on Long Island. I've been with the current agency that I work with for about 10 years now. I actively recruit brokers, so independent insurance agents and agency owners as well, to our platform. So I work with a lot of independent uh, advisors and agents. But that doesn't mean that I don't work with other professionals. So anybody who's really licensed to offer some of the services and products that we have, in order to gain access to that service, they need to be appointed to our agency and our firm. So, I was always looking for a way to automate the prospecting process, which for me isn't to the direct client, but more my clients are more of the other professionals that are out there, providing those services to their clients, specifically business owner clients. And that's when I heard about the SLS framework.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can dive into that in just a moment. And more importantly, what is the upfront value that you bring to a broker, right, who may be already working somewhere else? What's the upfront value that they get with you that they may not get elsewhere?
Sure. So a few things. One, I have an amazing support and team behind me for case management, underwriting support, and things like that. But the value that I bring is all about the case design and the awareness of the services that we have. So a lot of people don't know that I have a business resource center that has a team of non-practicing accountants and attorneys where we're able to provide reviews of financial documentation, personal and professional legal documents, and partnership agreements and things like that. We're able to review that information and send it back to our brokers so that they now have an outline of where some of their liabilities might be with their clients. And I can help them then identify how to bridge that gap in coverage.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing. For any broker watching this out, that's why I wanted to get this out there, is that the kind of value that they can get from working with you. And Nicholas, how was prospecting for new talent like before joining the SLS framework? So we mentioned a bit pre-COVID and then post-COVID world. Tell
Sure.
us more about that.
Yeah, so pre-COVID, it was a lot of, personal interaction, going out to those traditional networking events, meeting with other advisors and agents one-on-one. Also just those traditional trade shows and local chamber of commerce events and things like that. Post-COVID, it's been a lot of online interaction. I shifted gears a bit to more of if manual is the right term, but a manual approach to LinkedIn. I was doing I've always done a lot of the traditional cold calling, but finding and picking a process that then involved multiple touch points. So making a call, leaving a message, finding an email on LinkedIn, messaging on LinkedIn, and having maybe 5 or 6 touch points all within one, call or outreach for a particular broker or contact. However, once that would get set up and I'd make, that one contact, I never really had any backing or support to follow up on that. Things
Hmm.
would get lost on LinkedIn and I wouldn't be able to really efficiently or effectively follow up unless that one person out of, 25 or 50 got back to me and almost immediately.
Mhm. Yeah, so basically either spending too much time cold calling, because obviously not all lead lists are created equal, and it's time consuming to churn through a lot of leads through cold calling. And then yes, LinkedIn, there's value up front on there, and that's exactly what you saw, is that there's value on LinkedIn, but then have a kind of automated way or process to target the right leads and then funnel them through for the most part an automated process in which when there's an actual desire from a lead to talk to you about what you're offering, then you hop in, right? Ideally, this is what the world we want. Um, and so far with the SLS framework mastermind, you joined us 2 months ago. You set up the assets. You've been running this for about 2 weeks or 2 weeks and a half or so. And you hired a broker already and potentially are um, another partner is potentially joining as well with they're two total, right? So can you tell us more about that process? I mean, how smooth those two cases are so far in terms of recruiting?
Yeah, sure. The first case, I would say is just sticking, I stuck to the process. I sent a welcome message through the system. We created and crafted a what we call a nerve striking message, right? So it really appealed to that particular person. If I am really, dedicated to speaking with agency owners, that title and that language is in the welcome message that I have sent out. That resonated with this person. And almost right off the bat, before I even picked up the phone to set up the call, or to reach out to set up a follow-up call, we already knew what we were going to be talking about. So the conversation when I did reach out to him was very warm, and we hit it right off the bat. So almost by the end of that discovery call, we said, hey, let's just get right to it. Let's get you set up on our system and let's, start, getting together and moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and well, I'm happy to hear that you have a system that can deliver that kind of feeling, because absolutely, as a business owner, time is so valuable. And I mean, I can't imagine you cold calling all day with potentially not having those types of conversations all day long. Which at this point, that's all you have is warm calls lined up for you with with leads that actually know what you want out of the conversation, and that's really key here. So that's huge, and I am happy to hear that you're at that stage. And obviously, there's still a lot of work that we can do here, whether it is getting new clients in, recruiting even more, and more brokers, and systemizing that even further. Um, you know, so that's great. And what would you say to another agency owner or leader, director like you, who may be in a place of kind of not having a system in place to either prospect for new clients, recruit, and is on the edge of joining the SLS framework? What would you say to someone like in your shoes, I guess, right now?
I have faith and trust the process. For me, it's a lot that there's a lot of information and a lot of value behind, a lot of the tutorials, if you will, the modules. But to just think about the time saving component. So like you said, it's really been about 2.5 weeks since I launched. It took me a little longer than that to get to this point where we're ready to launch the system. But now that it's in play and it's happening, and I'm waking up each morning with 15 to 20 new messages on there that are, believe it or not, already qualified because they saw the content and the information that we put together. It's a good feeling. And now I've set up the time in the day, an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon, to follow up on these things. And it's not like there's just things happening all over the place all day long. It's a little more focused than that now.
Mm. Well, I appreciate you sharing your journey so far, Nicholas, and I'm happy to hear that you're at this point of the journey. And obviously, there's still a lot of more work we can do here. I thank you for joining, and that should be it for today.
Great. Thank you, Bilal. Have a great day.
Thanks.